How's it going? How are you? Sorry I'm late. I'm always running late, haven't I? I'm always running late. How's it going? How are we all? How are we all? Yes, are we okay? Anybody out there? Anybody can hear me? The usual stuff, you know. Hi Nicole, how's it going? Let me know. Hi Elizabeth, let me know you can hear me okay. Let me know that the old Vol's working. And happy Sunday Nick, how's it going? Evening Elizabeth. Can you hear me? I'm a little bit hoarse today. So you might hear me coughing a little bit, but nothing I can't handle, you know, nothing I can't handle. So yes, can you hear? Hiya Burke, how's it going? Oh, loud and clear, that's great. It's good. Liz, you're great to get me so early because I can sort of chill out then and give people a chance. Hi Rebecca, hi my darling. Hiya Burke, how are you all? My wonderful Wella family. Morning Mucka, oh I like that. Morning Nick. Morning my man Nick, how's it going with your Nick has an amazing invention that he's just bringing out himself. He's been keeping it quiet, and we won't say too much yet, but it could be a game changer, and you'll be the first to know in the Wella family about it all. So don't worry, could be something amazing. Hiya Mark, how's it going? Hiya Lisa, how are you? All coming on now. Hi Lucian, how are you sir? How is it going? Michelle, how are you? Great to see you all posting. And supporting each other in the page, which is absolutely amazing. Alison, how are you? How's the boy? Charmaine, how are you? It's your birthday, isn't it, Charmaine? Happy birthday, Charmaine. Have a little drink on me. I'm very well, Alison. I'm very well. I'm very well considering all things considering. Okay, the future of hair colour application coming soon. I didn't want to say too much, but there you go. It looks like the con is about to become, you know, he's taking things to another level here. And we are going to support him and help him as he has supported everybody here and all of us. Is the camera okay? I'm scared to touch these things once I go live, you know, that way. But I didn't. Hiya, Karen. How's it going? What about you? What about you? Still shite here. You're looking well. Am I looking well? Well... That's the first thing. I'm hiya Jota. How are you from Brazil? Great to have you on. And Despanza, great to see you all coming on. Yes, great to have you all. I'm hi Meryl, how are you? I'm officially on a diet. I've been exercising a lot for the last year and so, and I put on a good bit of hiya Tracy. I was only talking to Tracy about it. And you know, you get to a certain age where you have to take care of yourself, you know what I mean? And I've been exercising a lot and I've put on a lot of muscle, but I haven't lost any fat. I've just put on like half a stone of muscle, and I haven't put on, I haven't lost a shred of fat, which is unusual, but it's a sign that I've been exercising and eating at the same level. In fact, if the truth be known, I've been eating more than I've been exercising. The flu has you. Oh, Kato was where is that? Well, I started this a week ago. And today I found it a little bit difficult because I wasn't working, you know, a little bit difficult, but I stuck it. I'm official. You're off the vodka since Poland, Sharon. I love vodka, Sharon, and then I wish I was there with you because I know what vodka can do, you know, Sharon. I'm a Grey Goose man myself, you know. I did break the wagon a little bit last night when I got in and had me dinner, and I had a glass of wine with some 7-Up in it. I just had the one, and I had so I'm officially, and I'm already starting to work on it, so it's a good thing. And I'm really doing it because I read about the amazing results that the guys have done for people with diabetes and heart disease and blood pressure and cholesterol, that if they're at a certain target weight, it burns the fat from the inside and protects their internal organs. And to me, that was the sell. No yeast in it. Yeah, yes, this is true. But any type of alcohol stops your liver from working, and your liver burns the fat. So I'm afraid I just have to keep it on. Hi Jennifer, great to have you on. How's it going? What size was the one? It was a decent size one, Karen. That's a very. It's like anything in life. The question. It was a decent size one. It was enough to give me a buzz, but not enough. After that, and I'm sort of doing these complete whole full shakes, you know what I mean? Give me the likes and the loves there. They really help. So funny when I see the laughs coming up. Not the amount I drank. Listen, Sharon, I want to know all about Poland. That sounds exciting for me. Vodka, water and lime juice. It's called a skinny bitch. Okay. I'll try that. I love vodka and cranberry. I love the bite of the cranberry, but it's full of sugar. It's full of sugar. Lots of people on already. Great to see you all this Sunday, and great to see you all supporting me. Hiya, Christopher. Great to see you talking. I see you met Neve Neve, who you met over in LA. Her best mate Albert works with me in my salon, so it's amazing how small the world is, how small the connection is. And Albert's a terrific guy, and Neve's a terrific girl. I believe she's working. She's going to be working for Wella in LA, doing some sales and doing some teaching and some training. So delighted for her, delighted to be in that academy is something else over there. So great to see you on, Christopher. I don't know what time it is over there, but guys, if any of you want to have Christopher's great to follow. He's very funny, and he's one of the admin here on the page. He's been with us from day one, like all the admin. Nearly, he's been here from day one, and he's a very funny guy. Hi, Kelsey, how are you? Great to see you on. So I was going to do a thing on money, but I just didn't get a chance to prepare. And as I was telling Tracy, I'm sort of trying a few things in my life, a few different things, and I want to see if they get results, and if they do, then I'd share them with you, because I like to test anything I talk about before I talk about it, so that I can feel like I can stand in front of you and say, oh, well, I did this and I feel it works, instead of just talking a lot of waffle about stuff that doesn't make any sense and doesn't so unless I test it and unless I feel it actually has some validity in the reality of the real world, I won't talk about it. So I'm that's for another Sunday, but I'm already having this in practice, and we'll see. So I said today, after looking at the page, and I'm in the process of hiring somebody to come to work with me. So I've been doing some interviews and talking to people. So education has come up a lot this week. It's come up a lot on the page. Hi, Robert, how are you? Great to see you, sir. Education has come up a lot on the page, and yeah, and because I've been interviewing, you sort of interview people, and you see their level of experience, and then sometimes you see them behind the chair, and you see how they work and how their energy is, and how different that can be, and what you're looking, So I was thinking about this all week, and there's been a lot of posts to do with, I don't know whether it's education or it's just a lack of understanding of what's needed to be very successful in this game. And there's a difference, so we'll jump in. There's a difference between study and training, so anybody out there know the difference between study and training, you know what I mean? They're both very important. Hi, Fanula, how's it going? Welcome to the game. I was talking to Fanula only last week. I said I'd say hello to you if you came on. So how are you, Fanula? Welcome to Sunday service. And you're very welcome, Fanula. You're very, very welcome. I said I'd wish you well, and there you are on. So fair play to you, babes. You can light me up with the hearts and the likes and the laughs. So study and edge and training. Anybody know the differences between that out there? Really. And because I've been thinking about it, because I've been interviewing people, and some people's resumes their resumes were incredible. Their resumes, their level of understanding, their level of technical ability and the technical understanding was really, really strong. Young people, some people had incredible training or incredible education. Hi, Michael, how are you, sir? Good to see you on. Some people had incredible but maybe they just didn't have as much training, and they didn't sort of understand the difference, you know what I mean? And I was talking to a lot of them about this during the week. A1 Sharton. Oh, A1 Sharton, A1 Fanula. And sit back, pour yourself a glass of Fino Collapso, and and have a laugh. Hey Lisa, how are you? Good to see you on. So for me, like study is really important, but training is great, but it needs to be applied over and over again. Absolutely, repetition. Study is passive, okay? Study is a passive thing. It's about ideas. It's about learning how things work. It's about learning how an engine works, why it works, how you do it. Hiya, Rachel. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday, Tammy. I missed somebody there, so welcome, and talk among yourselves as usual. Don't be afraid to have the old chats. Angela, good to see you on. So study, which is so important, is about understanding how things work, and it's about understanding, you know, why things are the way they are. But then training is active. Training is about being behind the chair. Training is about applying the study that you've learned. And when you learn something, when you study something, you know, it's you're only halfway there. You know, when you put it, when you do the training of it, that gives you the experience, and then when you do it behind the chair, that gives you what you need to do. Would study be mental and training practical? Yes, study is all about ideas. You know, it's all about ideas. So you really need to do study, training, practice, and that equals experience for a lot of people. It was a good week, wasn't it? Actually, yeah, for the bogus products. You know, the cheek of those people bringing out a product saying it was the old Wella, huh? The cheek of them. We caught them out though, didn't we? Didn't we? I think we earned a medal from Wella UK this week. Certainly, Pamela brought it to light to all the admins, and we went about it, and I thought it was a brilliant thing, and it just shows you how Jerome set into action the GM from UK, and how they put a stop to that, and they sent stuff off to be checked through by the scientists to make sure that it was all you know, rubbish, which was great. So anyway, back to this. So it's a, you know, when you learn, so I'm going to take the example of underlying pigments. When you learn about underlying pigments, when you study about that, and you learn that elomelanin is the black and brown pigment in the hair. And oh, you're okay, Miriam, you're here, babes, you're here. You can always watch back, you know. That when you study, hi Humberton, how are you? I love your work, sir. You're a great member. You're knocking them out there. You're fab. When you study that elomelanin is the brown and black pigments, you know, and that phelomelanin is the warmer pigments of the hair. So, and you learn about the lightning curve, and you understand that, you know, what colours live at each level, and all this type of stuff. It's a fantastic thing, because you learn about the underlying pigments and how 50% of all outcomes are down to the underlying pigments inside the hair. No matter what colour you choose, you have to choose it based on the underlying pigments that you're dealing. Douglas, good to see you back on. Douglas McCoy, one of the greats, guys, one of the greats in the hairdressing industry. Well worth following. Terrific guy. So when you learn about phelomelanin and elomelanin, you know that gives you a great insight. It gives you great ideas of how things work. But until you actually colour somebody's hair behind the chair, you have no idea how much phelomelanin or elomelanin is in their hair. You have no idea. You've only got a guide. And there's so many things that you have to take into consideration. The hair texture, you know, the coarseness of it, the colour of their eyes, the colour of their skin tone, the colour of it, that you really don't know. So until you are behind the chair and you actually put the colour on and it starts to lift and expose the underlying pigments, you just don't know. You know, you just don't know. Everything is a guide, but nothing is set in stone. And so many people don't have the understanding of that, and they don't have the, hiya Joanne, how's it going? And they don't have the experience of it either, you know. So, and they get very frustrated, and so it's only through the experience behind the chair, the activity of actually doing that you get to understand what it's all about. You get to understand where people say, well, she pulls warm. What that actually really means is that there's a lot more phelomelanin in the hair than I thought, you know. And then certain tones live, like so much orange lives at 7. Can you ever neutralise, you know, all that orange living at 7? Or do you have to bleach it out first and then colour it to a 7? Or do you have to darken it to a 6? And I would say, yes, that's probably true. You know, I totally agree. That, you know, nothing beats the knowledge behind the chair. It's like what Mike Tyson said. You know, Mike Tyson said years ago, everybody, when they're getting ready to fight me, is they study and they practice and they learn and they watch me, and then when they come into the ring and I punch them in the head, they don't know what to do. So they don't, no matter what level of experience and what level of study and how much ideas and everything that you have, until you step into the ring and start doing hair behind the chair to create the level of experience and understanding what you have to do, you're not even you're not at the game. So experience will win hands down every time. Both are really important, but you have to do experience. And how do you gain experience? You gain experience through practice and repetition. You know, pure practice. Hiya David, how's it going? Pure practice and repetition. You know that until you do it. Like I had a client in on Wednesday, and her hair was a base level 8, so she was really quite naturally blonde, fair, blue eyes. You can usually tell how much phelomelanin and elomelanin they have by looking into their eyes. If you can see a red ring or a gold ring or a green ring, you know, you sort of get an idea that there might be more elomelanin or phelomelanin than you expect. Now, she is naturally blonde, this woman, and I looked right into her eyes. Very attractive lady. I looked into her eyes, fair skin, base 8. She was looking for a high lift type of situation, and it was only the old colour that was in her hair that she had done in a different salon that gave me an indication that because of the texture of her hair, because her hair was so naturally fine, it was so hard to break down, that it wasn't going to lift well. You know, even though all the indicators were that should lift perfectly well with a high lift. And by looking at her hair, it was the texture. The texture told me that, yeah, they think you're bonkers. I know, but it's like, there wasn't even anything in her eye, Tracy. I mean, she was a base 8. She was naturally fair. She was looking for a high lift kind of vibe. But it was only the ends of her hair, and that it was the texture. Because the hair was so tightly packed, it was really hard for the colour to get in. So instead of using a high lift, I went down and I used a 10-8 with a 10-8 with 4%, which just gave me a slight base break, and I did some highlights around it. So it gave us a nice cool finish with some highlights in the background. You know, but like even at that, everything indicated that it was going to be okay. You know, it was a nice level base, good skin, no underline, like no rings in her eyes. Everything looked right, but it was the texture. Do you know what I mean? So there's so much that you have to learn. There's so much that you have to do behind the chair, that, you know, that comes from all that experience. So here's me, like 30 years behind the chair, and even I was thinking everything is okay here. Everything. You've got me on the big screen, Gary, have you? You're not in the last time you told me you were in the toilet watching me, which I thought was made my week. Your gas, Gary, you crack me up. So what am I like widescreen, Gary? Am I okay? Yeah. Gary said to me, he asked me did I have Botox last week, because he said I looked so well, and I took that as a compliment, but it was just a holiday, you know. I haven't had the Bobo yet, Gary, but when I do, you'll be the first to know, you know. And I'd never say never for anything in this life, do you know what I mean? But so, right, back to that. So, like, everything that's indicated. You're in the toilet watching me now, Melissa. I'm very popular with people watching people in the toilets. I must keep this all regular. I mean, it's good. I must say that Andrew keeps you regular, you know. On a Sunday, I'm a morning person, but we won't go there. I can feel myself going there. I can feel this already going off track. But so study is passive. Study is ideas. But until you get in and you do not know how much elomelanin or how much phelomelanin is anybody's hair until you start to colour it. And the higher the volume you use, you know, the more you're going to expose the underlying pigments, okay? So, this is true, Tracy. This is true. This is true. Either I bring it on or I create it. I'm not quite sure. But, definitely, there's something in it. There's definitely something in it. I think of Elvis. I always think of Elvis when everybody thinks of toilets. I always think of Elvis dying in the toilet. I don't know why. And then I'm thinking about peanut butter, and then I'm thinking about eating again. You know what I mean? But I haven't eaten all day. I've had 2 protein shakes, so I'm doing okay. You made my TV link through. I thought, listen, Gary, I'd say you're up to all sorts. Up to all sorts, you are. So everything is a guide. You know, when you read, you know, about a level and how much warmth is in it, it depends on the texture. It depends on their skin tone. It depends on so many things. So you don't know until you get in. You don't know until you get into the ring what it's like to get punched in the head, as they say. And you don't know. So the only way you can gain that is through practice, repetition, and experience. No matter how much ideas you have, no matter how much study you have. And I had so many kids in this week who had so much studying done. They had watched so much YouTube videos. They were absolutely experts at it. They knew everything inside out. They could tell me levels, basic. But you put them behind the chair and they didn't have the experience. And the experience can only come from doing the hours. You can only learn to fly a plane in the air. You can't learn it from reading a book. You can only learn to be a hairdresser behind the chair. And to practice at the... Thank you. I have if I listen, Gary. I can't even say that word online. Tracy said to me when I was out in Lanzarote how much my language had improved since Sunday service started, because I Tracy knows I'd be borderline Tourette's at times and I've a sailor's mouth on me, but that now she said how much better I've got and how she can let her young daughter Ruby listen to it now, where before you just didn't know what was going to happen. So when you talk to clients, kind of get it. Clients kind of get it. But this is a lot of stuff. This is really about experience and understanding. That understanding that's what works. That's what works. Like, you can be good, and to get better, it takes training and repetition. And to get better, and to stand the difference between people who are good and the people who are great and the people who stand above the masses is really training. Intensity and repetition. They just keep practicing and keep working on that. They get to a certain level, they maintain it for a while, and then they get to the next level and they keep at it and they keep at it. And it's important that you have the right people around you, and that doesn't have to be the people you work with. This is the wonderful thing about being online now, is that you can be like in where we are in our community. And you can ask people the right questions, and you can share your wins, and you can share where you're at, and you can share your successes, and you can really, yes, you can't be having mistakes with I was so close to mixing 12.81 and 12.1 with this lady. I was so close. I mean, I was late for work. I'd one stylist sick, which happens. Like, somebody else out sick. The tunnel I get my bus through was closed. I was, she was at 10 o'clock, my 9 o'clock was in. Things were a bit messy, and so I was analysing it quick. But I was so close to doing a 12.1, 12.81. She's a base 8, fair skin, blue eyes, no ring in her eyes, but her hair was super fine. And I was only looking at the old colour that I thought somebody's done a high lift on this, and it didn't really get past a 9 or a 10. And that's when I went, the texture. It's so fine that it's so tightly packed, the colour's not going to get in well. So I'm better to use a low volume and create some highlights around it, which is what I did. I went in with a 10, 8 and 4%, or a 9, 8 and 4%, I think. Yeah, I think it was 9, 8 and 4%. And I did a little few lights around the side with some blonde or emulsified it at the basins. And it was nice and cool, and she loved it, and it worked really well. But it's the diagnosis. It's like going to a doctor, and that comes with experience. When a doctor's asking you questions behind the chair, he's saying to you, does your arm hurt here? Does your arm hurt here? My arm hurts here. He's trying to diagnose your problem. And your job behind the chair is to look at the focal points, the skin tone, the eye colour, the face shape, the bone structure, and to try and diagnose the problems. And there's always one key issue which you can miss really quickly. Like me, I nearly mixed the texture of her hair. But there's nothing set in stone. Everything is guidelines. Nobody knows how much elomelanin or phelomelanin is in somebody's hair until you expose it. And then when you've exposed it, you can't close Pandora's box. Hiya, Sarah. You can't close the box, as Tracy will tell you, or as anyone will tell you, and the famous line that we all hear on the pages, she pulls warm. If somebody's at a base 7, so much orange lives at base 7. If you're aiming to open somebody up and keep them at a base 7, expect a lot of orange, because that's where it lives. And if they have more phelomelanin, like they would in Ireland, and they have elomelanin, expect it to be really, really, really warm. So you have to take that into consideration. You know what I mean? So You know, so these are all the things that are so important. And the diagnosis comes from, you know, that no matter how much you study, no matter how many ideas you have, no matter how much you know about it working this way or it's working that way, that until you're behind the chair, yeah, I'm back there. I heard the volume went off for a minute. Until you're behind the chair doing it, you won't really know. Hiya, Mandy, did you find me? Oh, Mandy, you came and you gave without taking. I love that tune. Barry, brilliant tune. And I sent you away, oh, Mandy. You kiss me. I could stop me from shaking. But I need you today, oh Mandy. I hope you're all singing with me. Did you hear me giving it the bit of sort of Westlife there at the end of it? You know what I mean? The little bit of a, did we win, John? Did we win? Did Liverpool win? And I sent you away, oh Mandy. You hear that's Westlife, who were an Irish band. They did a version of Mandy. Brilliant it was, brilliant. I could just sing that now for an hour. Isn't it gas the way things start? You know, it's gas. It was uncanny. If you closed your eyes, Nick, you actually thought you were in the room with Westlife there for 5 minutes, didn't you? You know, do you remember I did that thing on Career where I said value, you know, experience, passion, value. What brings value to your life? And I said about singing. You know, I said as much as I love singing, and I do love singing, not many people are going to pay to hear me sing. And that's about value. I have to watch you up, bro. Wrapped it up 2-0. Get in there. Get in there. Won the pool. Unbelievable. I have it recorded and taped so I can watch it later on. I'm in the pub. Are you in the pub, John? That doesn't surprise me, Mr. Morrison. You're doing a lot of, here, leave it out. Fanula, you love that. You love that, Fanula. I remember all those times. 2-0 to the pool. 2-0 to the pool. You know, terrific. But this is really important, though. This is really important because we have it now and we've never had it before. That you can. Did you like that, Chanel? That was for you for your birthday. That was me singing to you. That was me saying, "Hiya, Kevin. How are you, boss?" That was me singing to you. Completely off subject. How did you get to where you are now? I won International Trend Vision. I you know what? I'll do a whole hour on how I got here. You know, Westlife are touring this year. I'd go and see them. I have a really, really good friend, Christine, who was a huge Westlife fan, and she's a great girl. She works for Wella. I think she's finished with it. Christine, if you're watching, Christine, she probably won't like me saying that, but she's a big, and I used to go out with a girl who was a huge Westlife fan, but that's a whole nother story. You know, me and my you know, but trust me, I bought the greatest hits when I heard she was a Westlife fan. I was making sure she was a good looking girl, you know what I mean? I had that on in the car every opportunity. I never switched it off, you know. She was very attractive. I had no problem listening to Westlife, you know what I'm saying? But that it's important to have what we call in the gym a spotter. You know what they call in the gym? It's a spotter. So when you're working through things, you're working through underlying pigmentations, and you're listening to people like Tracy, or you're listening to people like who we like to use low and slow, and then other people travel through and they use higher volumes and go through it and do it really well, like Anna Vald can use high lifts brilliantly really well. He was in Bucks Fizz. Yeah, Bucks Fizz. No, I know. Maybe Boyzone. You know, Bucks Fizz. You're making your mind up. I remember them well. But you need to have a spotter and you need to have a tribe. You have both here in where we all preside here. That's the main reason for setting up the page was, you know, when you're going through certain things, when you're learning about things, if you're in the gym and you get to a certain level where you're lifting 20 pounds or 30 pounds and you know, and you think to yourself, oh, today I want to lift 40, but you're worried that, you know, you won't be able to lift it, and you ask somebody, can I spot you? You know, will you spot me? And they go, sure, and they come over and they just help you a little bit and they give you the confidence to get yourself to 40 pounds. You know, they bring you to the next level, and that's what we do on the Wella family page. That is what it was set up for, above and beyond everything else, is to give somebody the leg up, to tell them that it's going to be okay, to try something and to listen, and that we've never had that in hairdressing before, that somebody can say to you, just use a lower volume and it'll be okay, and they say, yeah, it'll be okay. you know? And that's the thing to do, is to not live in your frustration, you know, and not to be frustrated, because it's just it's out there for you, that if you just say to somebody, you know, will this be okay? It will be okay. You know, a lot of people try to justify something not working out for them, and then they get so negative that they actually want it to not work out for them. You know, that they get into this whole sort of self-sabotage, and you know, they get into this self-sabotaging kind of thing. But the worst place in the world to be doing hair is not knowing, because you've got a human being in front of you in the chair, and you're doing a service for them that you don't know how to do. I cannot think of a worse position to be in than to be in front of somebody that you have to do something that they've asked for and you don't know how to do it. It is the worst position in the world, where if you're trained, you're practiced, and you have experience, and you go through all those things, it's the best place to be. Because I'm behind the chair at times. Now I still get challenged all the times, but most of the time I'm behind the chair and I'm looking at the kid, and I'm going to nail this for you. Your hair's going to be like something off Instagram. Is there? Yes, I've done one about eye colour, but I'll do it again, Karen. I'll do one again, because a lot of the times, a lot of the subjects you just need to go through again. And you know what? You learn, you do something better. You know, you go through, but it's important to stay with the momentum. It's important to just, you know, that you have that opportunity now to be in a really positive tribe who are going to be looking for your wins, and they're going to help you, and you will get times, like, you know, you will get times where you'll get a little bit stuck, but reach out for a spotter, because we've got so many of them on the page. Reach out for somebody who can help you get from £40 to £50, and then when you get to £50, you'll be there for ages. £50, and you're working really hard. It could be beige blondes, and you'll be like nailing beige blondes. You're getting loads of new clients. You're making great wedge. You're delighted with yourself. You know, you're delighted with yourself, and you're making a few quid, and then, you know, something else will come up. It could be silvers. You know, it could be silver greys and stuff. But there is a lot of people who don't have a level of experience of going through that, and they just want to be able to do silver greys. It's like they come on the page and they say, okay, I want to climb Everest tomorrow. And you're like, well, sweetheart, you're going to have to learn to go to the first base camp, and then you have to go to the second base camp, and you have to acclimatise yourself. And then you have to find somebody who's going to be able to walk you to the third base camp, which is a spotter. A spotter is somebody from the page who can help you get to the next level, and then the next level, and then the next level, and finally you're able to climb Everest. You're able to be one of the you know, you're doing colour like Lucian here on the page, you know. So hi Michael, or you know, you're getting, but you will not get to the start of Everest and look up and go, okay, I want to be up there tomorrow. That's just not how it works. And I've had a lot of kids in who seem to think that's, you know, that you have to have patience, and you have to practice, and you have to have intensity, and you have to do all these, and every day is an opportunity to learn, but you have to do it with people, and you have to do it behind the chair. And there's nothing more addictive than being good behind the chair and knowing when you walk away from that client that you say to yourself, but if you can't do them, Cheryl, just don't do them. You know, there's nothing more addictive than knowing you're going to nail it. I get it all the time. But there is nothing worse than being behind the chair or being with a customer that doing something that you don't know how to do. I mean, winging it is the worst thing in the world. And being trained, being practiced, and being ready is addictive. It is so addictive. And it's just a matter of getting yourself into it. There's always a resistance to start something. There's always a resistance. Hi, Tiago. There's always a resistance, you know, in learning. There's always a resistance to start something. But once you do it, you know. But if Cheryl, if you can't do so, I don't. My clients are baffled when I say, I would just let you, just not ready for it. You know, you just like, you don't have to be like. If you're at a certain level where you're very, very successful and you can maintain that success, and as long as you're sort of looking to get better and slowly, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong. There's people who are always out there, they feel they have to, like, they're very, very, I've seen it in the sports world many, many times. I've seen golfers particularly, who are in top 10 in the world. A friend of mine is top 10 in the world, and he completely changed his swing because he wanted to hit the ball as far as Rory McIlroy, because Rory's hitting it like 350 yards. And he was in the top 10 making great dough, but he broke down a swing because he wanted to be number one, and then he sort of lost his game. And if you have a great game where you're doing brilliant beige blondes and you're doing brilliant work and you're very, very successful at what you do and you're making great money and you're really happy and you're contented at that level. Now that's the important thing. It's what makes you happy is what matters. If you're happy at that level, well then that's okay. Don't be going, but if you then give up all that to try and be a silver blonde girl and you never get there and you lose all your other clients and you lose what your success. So whatever you do that you're reaching for, make sure you maintain what is successful in you already. It's very, very important. And there's like stretching to be, but I have to be this and I have to be that. I don't suffer with that at all anymore. Now maybe it's because I talked to Nick about this. I won International Trend. I've achieved a lot of the goals that I wanted to achieve in life. I have my own salon. I'm very well known for what I do. But I don't feel I have to be like the next Instagram star. I just don't have that. I just might want to maintain who I am. I don't feel... Yeah, I agree with Trey. I just don't feel like I don't feel the need for that. Do you know what I mean? And if somebody else coming up wants to be that kid wants to be... if it's like Jack doing the amazing grays where he's with one client for 11 or 12 hours. It's absolutely incredible what Jack Martin does. Incredible. It's an amazing thing, and it's a one-off thing. But I don't have the need to do that. I don't feel the need. I don't want to. That wouldn't be for me. Do you know what I mean? So I don't feel I have to. But I don't see a picture with Jack. I don't go, oh God, I have to be Jack. And if a client comes in and she wants what Jack did, I'm just like going, that's not what I do. That's brilliant. I can get you Jack's number if you want to do it, and he'll spend 11 hours with you. But he's an expert at what he does. That's what he does. So if you're happy and you're doing really well at the level you were at, but if you want to be Jack, well then go for it. Do you know what I mean? Then you go for it. Hi Ollie, I hope you're okay. Poor Ollie hasn't been well. Everybody send him some virtual love and some virtual likes and some virtual hugs. He was very sick. He was in hospital there. I hope you're okay, Ollie. We're all thinking about you. So if you're happy, but if you want to be Jack, then that's great. And if you want to be, mark me down on the register, you're late. And we were more worried about you. If you want to be, I think it's amazing. I don't feel any at all. I don't feel any. It's good to know that it's okay to not be good. You can't be good at everything, I think, you can make a great career and be very, very successful. And you should tip your hat. It's the jealousy and the ego. And, that you should ignore that stuff because that's just rubbish. If you're very good at what you do and you're very successful and you're able to make a great career of it and you look at, say, what someone like Jack does, isn't it amazing? Tip your hat to it. I think it's amazing. Hats off. But it's not for me. It's not something I'd want to do. It's not my passion. And, I'd be much more into, face shapes and bone structure and skin tone and eye colour and beige blondes and blah, blah, blah. And everybody's different, and isn't that fantastic? You know what I mean? But it's this, everybody looking over their shoulder all the time to try be somebody that, and they already have something amazing. Every human being is different. Every human being has something amazing inside them. We all play our own music. Not one of us plays the same type of music. You heard me singing there, Barry, you loved it. You loved it. You heard the voice. You loved it. You were in love with me straight away. That everybody has their own voice. Everybody has their own song. And we don't all have to be the same. You don't all, but just because somebody can do something really brilliantly, there's something you can do really brilliantly. But the key to getting good at anything is repetition, intensity. Repetition, intensity. And what intensity means is that if you're practicing, if you're going to work in a salon and do 4 or 5 big heads a day, then you should practice. You should practice at that level of intensity, which means that you need to get through a head of highlights in an hour and a half or 2 hours. So therefore, whatever techniques you need to do, you should practice them for 2 hours. Now, if you're spending 6 hours doing one head of hair or 11 hours like Jack does, then you practice at that level of intensity of working at that level. But you have to be able to practice at the level you work at. So if you're in a salon where you have 2 hours or an hour and a half or an hour, then you have to try and create your level of understanding and practice at that level of intensity, or you have to change, and give yourself more time. You're liking the jet where it needs a cut, doesn't it? It needs a cut. It's getting a bit long, but I quite like it though. I'm thinking of leaving the length here and just going a lot shorter here and doing it, like a David Lynch. Do you know David Lynch, Ollie? Hi Judith, how are you? And just to let you know, all the UK guys, that it looks like I'm going to be doing a date in UK, and I'm gonna give you the dates. I know so many of you want to spend a day with me, so we're working it out right now. So I'll expect all you UK people to be there, and I'll have a few guests. Obviously, Ollie and people I'll have a few guests, and you'd love to colour for me, would you? I want to keep this long. I want to do a David Lynch, and it's going to be in May, and it's going to be a whopper. And it's going to be in one of probably my favourite studio. You should have the top permed. Nick Khan, you've some cheek. Don't go too short on the top. Okay. I like this I like this short. Like David Lynch's hair, it's a bit mental. But let's see how the diet goes. You know what I mean? Let's see how the diet goes. Let's see the wheels don't fall off the wagon. How are you, Sue? We're just talking about my hair tonight. Yeah, it's going to be a whopper gig. And it's going to be in Manchester. That's all I'll say. Manchester is my favourite studio in the whole world. When I won International Trend Vision and I came home, I had to do a talk on inspiration and it was my first time doing a coaching. My first time I ever standing up and doing what I do. Hiya Sue, great to see you. Don't cut it, you look much younger. Fanula. How can I look any younger than I look already, Fanula? I mean, yeah, but it's going to be in Manchester, and it's going to be an absolute whopper. It's going to be an absolute whopper. We'll be singing and everything. So I'll come back with dates. It's going to be in May. That's all I'll say. And I need to work it all out with the guys. I need to, whether I'm going to parachute in, like Elvis did in the jumpsuit. I have to work it all out. You know what I'm saying? I have to work it all out. But it's going to be May. I'll be coming on with dates later on, and it'll be whopper, absolute whopper. But the key to back to what we were talking about. The key is practice and repetition and intensity. So always try to practice at the level. There's no point in taking 10 hours to do something and then having to go, can you come to London sometimes? I can, Karen, but dates are very limited. Dates are very limited. I'll definitely come to the US. My the boss lady Sylvie's over there at the moment, and yes, hopefully as time goes on, I'll get more time to travel and to do more Wella family stuff. Finish your story about Trend Vision you won. I will tell you. I'll do one on when I won Trend Vision. Okay, May in Manchester. Sorry, I missed that. My husband's rattling on. Yeah, no, May in Manchester, Cheryl. It's going to be May in Manchester, and it's and I think we're going to make it a big day. I fancy making it a big day. Yeah, South Africa's. We're talking about South Africa for next year's Trend Vision. Rochelle, there's talk of me going to South Africa for next year's Trend Vision. I know I'll be doing a day, Chanel. My calendar is tight. It'll be a Monday. I'll be doing a day. Maybe I could do 2 days, but it'll be a Monday. But I just want to have all the right people around me. I want to have, there's lots of. I want it to be, I want it to be special, But Manchester, yes. Back to the Manchester story. On the Wednesday, I arrived after winning Trend in Berlin on the Sunday or the Monday, and I was in Manchester, and I got there, and they gave me a standing ovation. And a proper Manchester, and some of the best technicians I've ever seen have come out of Manchester, Mayu, and there's something about that place, there's something about that academy. It brings out, there's something very special about it. So I'm delighted. You know what I mean? I'd love to have a few guests. I'd love to make it really, 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 really important. But the thing there that we talked about, back to stuff. Is that it's really normal in life or in training or in education to have a high peak where you actually, it's like you learn how to do a zigzag properly, or you learn how to paint a balayage properly, or you learn what a level 8 or a level 10 or level 9 looks like before you rinse it, where you learn these things and you have these boom moments where you're like, boom, I got it, I understand, I got it. I'd boo them. But they don't last, okay? They are just a part of life. Life is like that, you know? It's like... So, hiya, Rita. I'm thinking about you with your husband. I hope... I'm praying for you, baby. I'm praying for you, my Hungarian lass. I'm praying for you. And I'm all the Wella family are praying for you. I hope your husband... hope his treatment goes well. I really do. And much love to you, Rita. Much love to you. That's okay, Morag. That's okay. But you must go through the peaks and troughs of learning and education and accept them. That you know, so there's these high peaks, but there's times when you're training where you have what they call a low peak, where you feel like you'll never get through it. You feel like you'll never learn it. You feel like you're stupid. You feel like you can't get it right. You feel like everybody else gets it right and it's not you. And that's all frustration. And frustration is about focusing. It's about focusing and focusing and focusing and focusing. It'll all come to you, Lindsay, but it doesn't happen overnight. You don't learn to climb Everest in a half an hour. And study is the beginning. Study is ideas. But training will give you the experience. So you need to understand that study is the start. It gives you the idea. Then you have to train and practice the idea. And then you have to accept that there's high peaks where you get something and you go, that's brilliant, I can do that. But most people, when they hit a low peak, they give up or they retreat. They go backwards. They start to think that, oh God, I'll never learn this. I'll never, and it's like running a marathon, you know what I mean? You see people have to start the marathons. I was talking to one of the members this morning about this. Everyone starts off in a marathon, everybody's in great form, they're all shiny shoes, brand new Nikes, lovely sweatshirts, you know, they're gonna run the race of their lives, you know what I mean? They're at a high peak, you know, and then 10 miles in it starts to hit them, you know what I mean? And then they hit a low peak where they think they're not gonna finish the race. They're not going to get through this. They'll never get past this. And then they edge their way ever so slightly back up to a high peak and they feel, okay, I can do this. I can get through. There's nothing in life that doesn't have a high and a low peak. And as high as the high is as low as the low peak is. And to know that when you're at the low peak, it's a bit like hitting a rock. You know, you're hitting a really hard rock with a hammer, you know, and there's all these little cracks happening inside the rock. You understand what I mean? Little cracks, and you don't see them. All you see is this big ass rock, and you're hitting that rock, and you're hitting that rock, and you're going, this rock will never break. And then you hit it once, and the rock cracks, okay? But it's all the other taps that you hit along the way that created all the fractures, which allow it, you know. But it's the giving up that causes the problems. It's the not understanding that for every aha moment you have, and for every peak where you go, I've learned how to do a zigzag, I've learned how to do a balayage, I've learned how to do highlights, I've learned that there's a peak where you go, I'll never learn how to do this, I'll never learn how to get this, I'll never get this right behind the chair, I'll never get that low peak is as important as the high peak, okay? And you cannot have that without that. You cannot. Okay? You can't look at me. I used to be a body popper. See? Look. I'm so hip hop. I'm such a hip hop dad, haven't I, you know? Yeah, my little one watches me doing the body popping and thinks she's be mortified. She's mortified. Yeah. It's completely normal. That frustration but the frustration should create focus for you. You know what I mean? It should create a focus for you. But to understand that there's high peaks and that there's low peaks, and that you must go through the low peaks, that you must just know they're like when they're in the marathon and they're at 17 miles and they hit the wall, and you know, and they think they'll never finish the race. What gets them through that marathon? What do you think gets them through the marathon? It's the training, it's the repetition, it's the intensity, it's the practice, it's all those things. So when I see people on the page asking, you know, I want this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that, they're like saying to me, I want to run a marathon. And I'm then asking them questions like, well, have you done any training to run a marathon? No. Have you ever even ran on the street? No. Have you ever even put runners on? No. Well, then you're not going to be able to do this. And then they go, I did it, it didn't work out, and I'm never doing it again. And then they don't become hairdressers. They don't become who they are going to become. Okay? They are not going to get there. Okay? Because it is just just the way life is, you know, that when you want to, hi Martha, how are you, babes? I was wondering where you were, that when you're running, when you're running, hiya San, how are you? Thanks for this week. You were an absolute legend, San. And the beautiful copper we put up during the week was that lovely girl there, San. She did that lovely Illumina copper. She's one to watch. She's going to be a superstar. This girl's going to be a superstar. And she's great for me this week. Thank you, San. I really appreciate after that mental Friday and I lost my phone and oh be Jesus, everything, nothing could happen. Nothing could happen. It took forever to find this. Martha, how did you lose me? I sang and everything. I sang it out. You can watch it back. I sang Mandy. It was a moment. There was people. It was around the world. It felt like time stood still. You know, it felt like time stood still. Excellent. The back of her head. Joanne, I mean, without seeing the client's scalp, I just wouldn't do it. I just don't know what to say. I just wouldn't. I just would be very, very careful of putting sulfates on somebody who has eczema. I'd actually ask their doctor, is it okay? I don't think it's your decision to make. I think it's a doctor's decision to make. So I'd ask her to go to her doctor, and it was a moment, wasn't it, Mandy? Mandy. The minute I see her name, I can't stop it. San, thanks for this week. You're a legend. You're an absolute legend. Didn't come up on my feed. You were lost without me, Martha. Well, you're lost without me. But you were all the likes and loves there now. You have to catch up. You catch up. I don't know how it doesn't come on your feed. I'm always here. Doing our GCEs. Your highs and your lows are. So if you think that you can run a marathon without training, if you think you're not going to hit a wall at 10 miles, if you think you're not going to feel like you're going to die at 17 miles, and then when you cross that finish line, the level of accomplishment you will feel in yourself, well, that is every day in life to a certain extent. To think that you're not going to hit the crazies, when you're trying to learn a new technique, or when you're trying to learn balayage, or when you're trying to learn a zigzag, or when you're trying to understand face shapes or bone structure or vocal points or skin tone or eye colour or hair texture or damage of hair or there's so much, but the more you practice and the more you learn, the more you practice, it becomes second nature, So for me, I just look at people and I don't even think about it. It's like hitting a golf ball for some people. They just step out and they hit a golf ball because they've spent 30 years practicing hitting a golf ball. There's just no hacks in life. I've never seen hacks that actually work. You know what I mean? I've seen people being able to bypass and do quick things and do stuff, but like very rare without foundation. It's very rare that someone could run a decent marathon without training and without practice and without intensity. And if they want to run a marathon in 3 miles or in 3 hours, then they have to train for the 3-hour marathon. So if you want to work in a busy salon where you've got to do 8 to 10 heads a day, well, then you better practice working in a busy salon where you do 8 to 10 heads a day. Or don't go in for like as I have people going in for an interview who do one, 2 heads a day, and then I'm knocking that stuff out by 11 o'clock. By 11 o'clock I'm doing what they've done. And they're going, but I have to do it this way. I'm going, yeah, great. Best of luck now. It's not going to work out for you here. Somewhere else it will, because that's your level of practice and that's your level of intensity. But you have to, hairdressing is the life of an all professional. This is true. This is show us more on your dolly. Yeah, I'll do more on the dolly. You know what I mean? I'll do more on the dolly. I was going to bring her in tonight to talk about hair texture and stuff like that. She's right over there, actually. She's right there. She's in the corner. She's asleep. But I'll tell you why you must practice under pressure. If you get a lemon in your hand, right? I'm always saying that. I used to say this to Shay. If you squeeze the lemon, okay, if you put the lemon under pressure, what comes out? Juice. That's the juice inside the lemon. So if you put somebody under a bit of pressure and you squeeze them a little bit, you see what comes out inside, and that's the practice, the training, the repetition. And if nothing comes out, they haven't done the practice, they haven't done the training, they haven't done the repetition, and they think that they're going to be successful, and they won't be, because they'll be behind the chair with real people. And I love you too, babes, that it just won't happen. That you need to practice as you perform, and then you need to perform as you practice, and you need to accept that you will have low highs and you will have high highs. You will have days where you walk out of the salon and you go, I nailed that. I can now do this and I can now do that. And then you'll have days coming out of the salon where you're on the bus and you'll go, I will never be able to do this. I can never, this is the work, I can never do that. And you'll feel lower than low. But then remember, you're just hitting a rock. When that happens, you're just hitting a rock and you're cracking it, cracking it, cracking it, cracking it, cracking it, and the next thing you know, the rock will split. And if you don't do it, someone else will walk in and they'll hit the rock once and go, I broke it in one go. But it was you, it was all your hits before that created it. It's like somebody asking you to open a jar and you spend a half an hour trying to get the jar, and then the next person just goes click, where it was all your work to get the jar to that level, you know? Or the blonde door bucket as it used to be. Do you remember you couldn't open the blonde door buckets? That was so funny. You just had to put a hole in them because of the vacuum. Do you remember? That was so funny. That was so funny. But practice as you perform and perform as you practice. It is key to education. Hiya, James. How's it going? Great to see you on, sir. I've been following you for years. When you used to work with Eden Sassoon and you're out on your own. Great to see you on. Great to have you part of the Wella family. So practice under pressure, a little bit of squeeze, and what come out inside is the juice, is the wisdom, is the understanding, you know, is the understanding. Because then you'll train as if you didn't even think about it. It just becomes automatic. As it does for me. I'm the king of visualizations. I've used a bit of golfing tonight, and I've used a bit of marathons, but I think the low highs are very important, because without you understanding that you will have lows, and to not spread them around, and to not try and give them to everybody, and to get as if it's like something that has to be healed, and as if it's something that, oh God, this, you will have days. I have them. We all have them. You will have days, but those lows create highs. And then you get to that high and you can maintain that high. Sometimes you get to a certain level where you've learned, where you're the king of beige blondes, or you're the king of what you do, and you've a really successful clientele and you're making great money. And if you can maintain that and you're happy at that level, hiya Adam, how are you? If you can maintain that and you're happy at that level, well, that's okay. Okay, if you can maintain it. Okay, maintain doesn't mean do nothing. It means refine your art. Every day get better at it. Every day get better at being what you do. Get a little bit better. But you don't have to go, okay, I'm going to give all this up to be a silver blonde person, or I don't have to give all this up because I'm going to become the next, this is no, what I'm doing is no good. You've got thousands of people who are willing to spend a lot of money with you, and you can be really successful, spend time with your family and do really well. And, so if you can maintain that, that's a great thing. So then you can stay at the top of a peak, or, there'll always be another hill. There'll always be another trough, another hill, something else. For me, I maintained, I was really happy at the level I was at what I can do as the go-to colourist, and, really, really happy. I didn't feel I had to be Lacey, Werner, as amazing as much as I love watching some of the pro balayagers. I'm not one of them. And I didn't feel the need to be that. I didn't feel I had to be anyway. I felt really successful at what I did. And what I wanted to do next was this. I wanted to be, I don't know, I wanted to communicate. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to help the next generation. I wanted to talk to people who are in small salons around the world and be able to, I wanted to be a spotter. I wanted to be a global spotter, to say to somebody, okay, you're at £30, let's get you to £40. Let's get you to 40, and then you get someone to £40, and they go on the page and say, Andrew, if it wasn't for you, I'd have never got there. And I'm like, thanks a million. To me, that's what I wanted to do. That was my next hill. That was my next, that was my next thing. That was my next challenge. It wasn't so much hair. It was communication and education, and being, being, just for somebody in smaller salon, or someone who's working on their own, or somebody who doesn't have the opportunity, that they could learn from me, and that they could learn from other people, and that it would create this amazing thing. Because I grew up, I didn't have any of that. I didn't have anyone to help me. I was completely self-trained. I didn't have anyone to help me do anything. I did 2 exams in my first year, and then I was basically trained, and I had to do it all on my own. And now you can reach out, and you have a spotter, you have a personal trainer, and everybody needs that. Everybody needs, like I have a coach, and he talks to me, and then I talk to. Everybody needs a spotter. Everybody needs to help them get better at what they do. And this is my journey now. My journey now is you guys, and being online, and the salon, and the brand, and training the next generation, and so that's, for me, that's great. So I'm really happy at where I'm at with the colour. Do you know what I mean? There's that yeah, I don't know, it just felt like it's what I want. I just remember just doing the love, passion, and this sort of came up, you know what I mean? This sort of came up for me. And so it can be different things. So sometimes when you open yourself up, to something, then something else, another door opens. So I never saw this kind of coming, but another door opened, and I went, oh, and then I walked through that door, and here I am with you guys, through it. But don't ever expect to understand the difference between change and transformation as well. I mean, they are difficult. You know what I mean? They are difficult. Right now, I'm changing my diet so that I can lose a few pounds, but I'm not transforming. So I'm not becoming a vegan, or I'm not becoming a plant-based. I'm not completely changing my life. I'm refining it. Okay, so that's quite easy. Okay, it's easier. You have to go through some level of highs and some level of lows. Like, I was absolutely starving today. I was thinking about sausages for about, I don't know, maybe an hour. I couldn't stop thinking about a nice sausage. You know what I'm saying? A nice just sausage sandwich or a bit of bacon. I couldn't stop, but I got through it. I got through that hour and I came out the other side. No big deal. But transformation, so many people seem to think that, that you can transform your life. You see all these coaches under them, I'll transform your life in 30 days. And transformation is a messy business. Transformation is very difficult. It's like getting your computer and trying to update it with a completely new way of working, a completely new operating system. And this is your operating system, your brain here. And if you want to transform 30 years of the way you're thinking, don't expect it to happen overnight. It will take time, and you do it one bit at a time, okay? And change is tough enough, but transformation is very difficult. And so many people seem to think, oh, I can do this stuff, and and it'll all happen, and it'll be like Cinderella. And they end up like, they lose their confidence, they lose what they're really good at, they lose everything. So to understand that it's okay to maintain, it's okay to change, and it's okay to transform, but to understand that if you're transforming, if you're changing, and you're running for a marathon, you better do the practice, and you better do the training, and you better do the intensity. Because it will hit you on the journey, and you better be prepared for the highs, and you better be prepared for the lows, and that the real answers come in the lows. The things that you remember are when you get that, when you remember the breakthrough. I mean, everyone remembers when they could, when they first. Yeah, I love your work now, Tracy, with Ash to Warm. You just have to just take little changes. What James said there is really true. One small change at a time. For me right now, it's my diet. So that's what I'm working on. My diet. I'm looking for resources to help me. Found that, and now I'm on that journey, and that's it. And so that's a change. I'll have highs where I've already lost a few pounds, and I think, I am on it. I'm looking hot. And then I'll have days where I'm thinking about bacon sandwiches, and I'll be starving, and I won't feel good. But that's the lows, and they're both the same. It's just a part of life. And hairdressing is the same. To think that you won't have days of frustration, that you won't have times of failure, and to just use them to refocus, and to understand that you're just hitting a rock, and that when eventually that rock will crack. And when it cracks, you'll be flying it. And then if you maintain that, you'll have it for life. You later, Liz, maintain that, you'll have it for life. Okay? You will have it for life. And then you can go on and find another rock. It can be silver greys, or it can be what it is. But you have to start, at the beginning, and then work your way through and train all the way up for that. It's very important. I'm seeing it on the page an awful lot lately. People who are trying to climb Mount Everest, and they haven't even started rock climbing, and then they get so upset and so down that they're nearly going to give up hairdressing. So little baby steps, learn, get to that top of the hill, maintain it, and then walk to the next hill, or don't walk to the next hill. Some people have been really successful just being brilliant blow dryers. Some people are really successful just being brilliant at doing beige blondes. Some people are really successful at being able to tint hair perfectly. Bette Minardi has spent a career being able to tint hair perfectly, and she's a global superstar at it. I mean, imagine if Beth hadn't have took that road and she gave it up because she wanted to do silver greys, you know. And I'm sure she could do it in her sleep if she wanted to, but instead she gave so much to the world by training them and teaching them how to tint hair. You know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with maintaining. There's nothing wrong with being good at what you're good at, and to tip your hat at people who are brilliant at other things, like we did at Jack the other day, or, you know, there's so many people out there, you know. So I hope that helps tonight. You know, as I said, you have to be open up to learning. If somebody has to go from black from blonde, they aren't ready to attempt it. Yeah, no, exactly. Like, there's a long road for that, you know. There's a long road, and there's people out there who just want to do that stuff. I'm feeling I can do this, Ange. I've chose a road, and I'm on it, and I feel that this will be for me. And it's really again to protect myself from blood pressure, cholesterol, and diabetes, because I'm 52, and at my age, they're the things that you want to watch out for. So it's the fat on the inside I'm looking at burning, as well as me Ned Kelly, me belly, obviously. But it's the inside of my body that, you know, I'm very, very, like, they've done so much amazing things with diabetes and stuff. They're through diet, they're able to now actually bring, you know, they're regressing that disease. It's absolutely incredible. So I just, you know, for me it's a health thing. You know what I mean? It's a health thing for what they can do, and I want to be at the target weight that is very good for keeping diabetes and cholesterol and blood pressure at that level. So I can walk every morning. I didn't go to the gym today. Obviously needed to sleep, so I slept a little bit later than I would usually done. And it's obviously 90% diet, because I could actually sit in the fridge while I'm watching television. You know what I mean? I can just, like, I you know, I'd have bars of chocolate hidden in the car. You know what I mean? I'm a nightmare in that sense. I just keep going. And yes, Easter's looking like Lanzo could be back. And you know what was great as well, Tracy, is there was so many fit people where we stayed in Lanzarote. So many, there was all these bicycle teams and so many. It didn't stop me eating now, I have to say. It didn't stop me going up to the dessert counter. Not once. And I had sangria every night I was there. Every night I had a half litre of sangria, you know. But yes, Maura, I can actually sit in the fridge watching telly. You know, you'd be better off to put the TV in the kitchen so I can just sit in the fridge picking it. Because I'm like that at the fridge door looking at the telly. You know, I'm just like, you know, I'm at the door of the kitchen watching television like that, because it's easier for me than sitting down, you know. I'm like, yeah, no, oh God, yeah. And you know when you find like a bar of chocolate or something, oh, come to Cyprus, I will train you. Salas, you come to Lanzo for Easter, or come over to Manchester. You know, they'd love to see Manchester Academy, and we'll be doing Dublin as well. But I'm walking every morning. I do a half an hour's walking every morning, and that's my appreciation as well. I try to look around and I try to open myself up to receiving and to appreciation. And walking's very good for me. Makes me think about the business, and it makes me think about all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's very good for me. But you know, with the amount of stuff I put in my food, I'd need to walk. You know, I'd need to walk to London and back to get it off. So for me, it's mostly diet and trying to behave myself. Yes, gratitude and appreciation and receiving. I love lamb chops. Oh, but sure, I love lamb. It's one of my favourite meats. I love it. Absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. So think about everything I said there. When you get the low lows, they're just low highs. You can't expect to not have a dip. You can't expect to learn something new and not go through frustration. You can't run a marathon without training for it, or you could do some serious damage. And all this stuff is relatable. You're going to go through the crazies when you're learning something new. That's just life. You have to go through it. You cannot study something without practicing it. And you cannot. And the only way you'll get experience is through practicing. You know what I mean? It's the only way. So for all those people on the page who are seeing that now, who are trying to be like the greatest colourist in the whole world, and they've only started out, take your time. the most important thing that you need to have is patience. Then you need to practice. Then you need to have repetition. Then you need to have intensity to work at the level that you need to work at to make some money, which is a big problem. I was talking to Tracy about this. My mum had type 2 diabetes reversed by losing 6 stone. Isn't it incredible? Isn't it incredible? But type 1, it's hard to lose, yeah, at that level, at that one. Isn't it incredible what they're doing? And yeah, I'm all about that at the moment. So I hope that helps tonight. Yeah, I do. I am watching. I am interested in the way people are vegan and what they're doing and stuff like that. But I don't think transformation is ever easy. I think people sometimes take these things on and then they break down really quickly because they don't understand that transformation is a messy business. And if you're going to do something like that, you have to expect it, or otherwise you end up sort of halfway one and halfway the other, and you don't really learn. You know, I love Susan, who's on here, who's in charge of destination that we're all going to go to. We'll all go to the Canaries in September for 3 days. It'll be amazing. I was saying to Sue, we might do something for the community page. You should all go, and we'd have the crack. Susan is really careful about. She doesn't overspend on clothes, and the fashion business is amazing. I find her inspirational. And I listen to her posts and I follow her. And she has really helped. I really stopped buying certain stuff that I don't need. You know, 52 pairs of trainers. I would have been one of them. And thanks Sue for that. She's great in that sense that she's you know. So I hope you enjoyed tonight. I hope it was good. I'm on quite a long time today. I was onto the start trying to keep it under an hour, but there you go. It's difficult with such amazing people, and to understand that you have people on the page to help you. You have people on the page to help you. You have spotters who will get you to the next level, and to not get frustrated and to not pass that frustration on to anyone else. You need to keep that frustration in your heart, because that gives you focus, and it's an actual positive thing. Push it out and you'll get to the next level. Yes, Sue, you're an inspiration. The way you did make me think about fashion in a different way and about clothes. And I won't lie to you, I still have 52 pairs of trainers in the but I haven't bought a pair of trainers since you put up that post a few months ago. I haven't. The last ones I bought were Balenciagas. I won't lie to you, they were a beautiful pair of runners. I'm still in the frig thing. But yeah, one meal at a time. No, I'm not hard myself. I'm just gonna be careful. Just gonna be careful with it. And to understand that the lows are not lows, they're just part of the circle of getting you back to a high, and that it's okay to maintain. If you're really good at what you do and you're a superstar blow dryer and people are willing to pay you a lot of money to do that, and you're looking at people on the page and you're going, I don't feel I'm any good doing my job, I don't feel I'm as good as all these people. If you're successful and you're really good at what you do and people are willing to pay you for your value for what you do, you should have a huge amount of confidence in yourself and a huge amount of confidence of what you can bring to the page. You don't all have to be doing silver greys to be successful. You don't all have to. Not in the Wella family. We are about inclusivity. We are about being together. We are about helping each other. And if you're able to maintain that and be successful, then you're successful. Okay? You don't have to try and change your golf swing. There she is for destination. That'll be some crack, I tell you. That'll be some. I'll be on the mic. I'll be singing and on that. I'll be some crack. It was a huge post actually. I think over 200 likes and about 70 comments. So I know a lot of you have clicked on it already. You know, but if you're really good at what you do and you're doing really well, don't be jealous of somebody else who does something else. Just just play your own game. There's nothing right for you. You don't need to look right or left. You just need to look ahead, and all these people around you will help you and give you inspiration and help you be really good at what they're doing and help you, rather than, oh, I want to be this and I want to be that, and if I was that I'd be happy. And it's all rubbish, really. It's all absolute rubbish. You know, I have deep appreciation for Lacey or for Jane and for all the wonderful balayage pro artists and what they do, but that's not what I do, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm really successful at what I do, so hey, it's okay. I just need to maintain. I need to refine. I need to stay really good at what I do every day. We need to help each other and help each other up. And if you're really good at what you do and you can make a career out of it and you can be successful, that's an amazing thing. Pat yourself on the back, okay? Pat yourself on the back. Okay, sing your own song, be true to your own vision. Don't be jealous of anybody else. There is absolutely no point in life. You can only be yourself, I'm afraid. You can't be anybody else, okay? I've tried it a million times, trust me, and it didn't work out for me. So you can only be yourself. Great to see us all on the page. It's very important to stay in touch with positive people. It's very important. Karen said it there to me one day. She said it was great that I caught up with you, and immediately she felt better. That it's very good to be around people that can inspire you and that can help you and make you better at what you do, or focus, or just make you do something a little bit better. And all that's in the community, you know, because we work really hard to keep the community positive, and we don't allow people who come on the page who have no other reasons than, you know, to try and just, you know, dump their stuff, rocks I call them. We don't allow anybody do that type of stuff. So stay connected to the Wella family, and stay connected to people who can inspire you and help you, and give back, because if you don't give, you can't get. If you don't, it's very important to give, but it's very important to receive, and to make the duality of all that work, you know. But to stay around people who can help you, who are positive, who can be spotters. And there's an awful lot of them on the Wella community. There's an awful lot of them out there in your life. So keep with them. I'll never quit, Pap. I'll never quit, Martha. Hopefully I'll, it's very important. Yeah, thanks, James. Great to see you. You know, I remember you in Eden's shop. I being a colorist there, and you used to wear the cool T-shirts of Sassoon, and I used to follow you big time, and I'm back following you. And it's great to have you on the page. You'll love being here. It's great to have you here. Great to see everybody tonight. I hope you enjoyed Sunday service. I'll see you next week. It'll probably be about money next week, but I'm still working on that one. So I don't want to talk about something that I haven't road tested in my life, because I know what I spoke about tonight is 100% truth, because I've lived it, and I wouldn't ever talk about something here that I didn't feel was an eternal truth, because but just go out and test it for yourself. But the next time you have a low, know that it's just a dip into the high, and that it's quite normal. And you need a haircut. I don't know. I'm thinking of keeping this really a quiffy and long, and this shorter around here. And David Lynch, he's a director. He has he has a couple of mental haircuts, and I quite like his hair. So we'll see how we go. But yes, it is getting long. This is true. And the eyebrows, look, there's a bit of grey getting into the eyebrows there. My God. Anyway, love you all. Thanks for this evening. Stay authentic. Sing your own song. Be your own person. If you're really successful and you can't do, silver greys, or you can't do this, don't go too hard on yourself. You can always learn, and you'll go through the high highs and the low lows, and we'll help. I love David Lynch. I'm a real big fan. We'll help you along. There'll always be a spotter. There'll be a Nick Con, or there'll be a Spila, or there'll be a Tracy, or there'll be a me, and they'll help you get to where you need to go. So just stay with it, stay positive, okay? I'll cut your Angela. Okay, I'll hold you to that, Angela. I'll hold you to that. Thanks, Sue. Thanks for being you. Sue's super authentic, wonderful girl, and I haven't bought a pair of runners in 7 months because of you. So you're helping me, you're helping the planet by keeping me out of, even though I did look at those new Nikes that, oh my God. No. And anyway, it's another time. And just before I go, I'd like to wish my wife a happy anniversary. It's our anniversary today. Married, 3 kids. I wouldn't be here without you. She's given up so much on a Sunday to let this happen. She's given up so much to understand that I sat down with her and told her that this is kind of where I felt I wanted to go. And she has to deal with me in the salon. She has to deal with me doing shows. She has to deal with me working late. She has to deal with me working online. She has to deal with me with the Wella community. She has to deal with the family and 3 kids. I couldn't do it without you, Gib. You're my inspiration. And, just thank you so much for backing me up and for being there for me. There's absolutely no way that any of this would be possible if I didn't have somebody who understood me as well as you do, and who who said to me, you can do this, you know, you can do this. And so thank you so much for giving me 3 wonderful kids, for finding my wallet when I can't find it, and for seeing me crying in the morning from exhaustion after working 3 or 4 shows, and for being such a moany, you know, for being just, you know, and for helping me through my low lows and helping me through my high highs. And when I go down, I go down. I suffer with the lows just like everybody else. I suffer with the highs just like everybody else. But I have a great partner, and I'm very, very lucky, and I don't take it for granted. So much love to you, because I know you're watching downstairs with those 3 kids and they're waiting to go online. So thank you for sticking with me, and for everything that you've done for me. I love you very, very much. So thank you so much. And with that, good night, good evening. I'll see you next week. Hopefully it'll be about money. As I say, I'm working on a few things. And much love to you all. Stay with people who can help you either maintain or get better at what you do. And that is the team here, because that's how we keep it. Okay? We keep it real. Love you all. Wella love. My hair community, my Wella family. Everyone's welcome here. God bless. Have a lovely evening. And I'll talk to you later. And I'll go through the comes. Thanks again, guys. Take it easy.